Laten wij ons ontspannen. Dan liggen we geest. Alle stediga en verkeerde gedachten en gevoelens overeen. Laten wij ons innerlijk heilig dan binnen gaan. En mediteren op de blijvende aanwezigheid op het alomvattende liefdevolle wezen. Dat gezeten is op de troon van ons hart. En vreugde, licht en vrede uitstraalt. Om asato ma satgama, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityurma amritam gamaya, avir avir mayedhi, rudra jate dakshinamkham, ten mang pai nityam, om shanti, shanti, shanti. Lead ons, panet anvarkalika, narit varkalika. And downstairs, not it leaked. Underdot, not the onstep falicate. Maku kenbar ang ons, o here, and veske mons, metu medidoken. Freda, 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 Jamitalen. We like to discuss here this morning about spiritual life and what are those obstacles for it. Spiritual life, we hear, but it is not so easy as we hear the word. Spiritual life means life constantly remembering the Spirit. We forget the Spirit completely. When we live in this world, this material world, and we are charmed with all these things here which gives joy. We are charmed with it. So that is why our spiritual side mostly blocked. It does not come easily. We do not remember. When we get some difficulties, then at that time our mind turns towards prayer, towards God, towards the Spirit, and then we think for some time. And when the difficulties are over, then we forget. Forgetful our very nature. So spiritual life is not so easy as we tell. It is really, really difficult because we have to constantly think that we are spirit. We are not this body. Our mind mostly remains in the body level. So that is why spirit side we are blind completely. Most of the people, I'm not telling for each and everybody, most of the people are completely ignorant about the spiritual life and they do not lead also. So it is very difficult to lead a real spiritual life. But that is the life which we can live. Human life is for that only. That is why Sri Ramakrishna has told the meaning of this human life just to realize God. To realize God is the main purpose of this human life. But we are so ignorant or we are so deluded in this world, we forget the main purpose of our coming to this world. And human birth is essential for that. In no other birth it is possible. That is why this life is very, very valuable. We should not ignore that. And we have to try our level best to live a spiritual life. Otherwise, life will be meaningless coming to this world. We may have material success, but what for that? Few days, who knows when life ends? We do not know. So that is why we have to be alert and mindful for our own growth, for which we have come. If we do not do spiritual, if we do not lead the spiritual life, then the main purpose of our life itself is meaningless.
Vandaag is het onderwerp van deze retraitedag obstakels in het spirituele leven. En Swami zegt meteen, spirituele leven is niet zo makkelijk. Het is eigenlijk het constant herinneren van het spirit, van de geest. Maar helaas, we vergeten het ook weer heel snel in deze materiële wereld. We worden gecharmeerd door de aanlokkelijke dingen die we om ons heen zien. En dat blokkeert het geestelijk leven. Het is dus moeilijk om ons alleen als er moeilijkheden komen, dan keren we ons naar God, naar geest, voor een poosje. Maar na de moeilijkheden gaan we weer terug naar ons oude patroon. Daarom het is heel moeilijk denken dat we de geest zijn, niet het lichaam waar we meestal verkeren. En dat betekent spirituele blindheid of onwetendheid. Toch is nou juist dat geestelijk leven het menselijk doel van het leven. Zoals Sri Ramakrishna heeft gezegd, Gods realisatie is het enige doel van het menselijk leven. En dat is ook het doel waarom we in de wereld zijn. En dat kan alleen in de menselijke geboorte. Daarom is het leven zo waardevol.
But in this world, some thoughtful people are there. Human evolution is not just a few hundred years, thousands of years. People are trying to know what is the meaning of this life. Ancient sages and saints of India, they saw the material life does not give entire satisfaction. People suffer due to ailments, due to other causes. People suffer in this world. So how to get rid of this suffering? And what is the meaning of this life? What is the purpose of this life? So it is an evolution of mind. Gradually they came to know through experience. This material, however we may grow or we may develop, the material side will never be happy, because we cannot avoid death. Death is certain for each and everybody. Whether we are subject to death or something else. So that was the search of the deceased. Thoughtful. They simple life they used to live. Most of the time they used to go to the hermitage or forest life. That is Aranyak. Upanishad name is Aranyak. Their revelation we get through the Upanishads, which Vedanta comes. Vedanta, the end portion or the gist portion of Vedas, Veda is knowledge. The end portion or gist, the purport of this scripture is knowledge, spiritual knowledge. And Upanishad deals with spiritual knowledge only. Other part of the Vedas reports for material prosperity. Karma Kanda, which where activities, all the activities are nicely described there. That is Karma Kanda. But Upanishad deals with the spiritual, Jnana Kanda, spiritual knowledge. So they have revelations of truth, and they have put according to their understanding, according to their realization, they have put in the scriptures. They taught their students, and afterwards it came in writing. In earlier days, not even in writing, they do not, even paper, nothing was discovered at the time. So they used to teach to their students, and students memorized it. In that way, that knowledge came. Afterwards it was printed, we get it in the form of Upanishad. So Gita is also gist of the Upanishads. Gita, Upanishad, Brahma Sutra, Vyasa composed. So all these things, these three particular prasthanatraya, they tell in Hinduism, Gita, Upanishad and the Brahma Sutra. These call it prasthanatraya, three books mainly, and that is called Vedanta. That knowledge we get through the experience of the seers of truth, the rishis, saints and sages. And fortunately for us, we forget great incarnations. God Himself incarnate as a human body to teach us. So that is the teaching of Gita also, Sri Krishna taught. Jesus taught to His disciples, which we get in the Beatitudes. Most of the teaching, spiritual part, we get in the Beatitude, which is 10 Commandments. With students, to His apostles, those who will live the life and those who will spread His message to the world. So thus we get through the incarnations and the revelations of the rishis and the mystics. So they have experienced something and they have put in writing. And they did not put in writing. Usually their students, their followers, they put in writing. And that we get through the scriptures. So that helps us about the spirit. We know through the scriptures. We know through a person who lived the life of the spiritual life, who tried to live a spiritual life. So we know from the persons or the scriptures, we know it. And knowing is not enough, but we have to do. We know many things. Even we memorize many things from the Upanishads and Gitas and other texts. But do we follow? Following is important. Mere listening, mere reading will not do. Following is very, very important in spiritual spiritual life. To grow spiritually, one has to practice it. Without practice, can never be perfect. Practice makes a man perfect, as we say.
Swami zegt dan dat er een soort geestelijke evolutie altijd heeft plaatsgevonden in de wereld. Er zijn altijd in deze wereld diep schouwende en nadenkende mensen geweest. Bijvoorbeeld de oude wijzen en heiligen van India. Die zagen heel snel dat het materiële leven niet voldoende was. Er was lijden en dat kon niet de betekenis van het leven zijn. De ervaring leerde hen dat je kon nooit gelukkig zijn alleen al vanwege de dood, die voor iedereen bestaat. Zo ontdekten ze een hele andere kant van het bestaan. En dat werd later opgetekend in de bouwboeken, de Aranyakas of de Upanishads, een deel van de Veda's, wat de kern is van de Veda's, de Upanishads. En de kern is de geestelijke kennis, de Jnana Kanda, het deel van kennis. Er is ook een Karma Kanda in de Veda's, maar dat is kennis van de materiële kant van de werkelijkheid. En de wijzen, de rishis, die hadden openbaringen van deze waarheid. En die droegen ze over aan de leerlingen en discipelen. En dat ging allemaal via het gehoor, maar later werd het allemaal opgetekend in de geschriften. En dan de 3 belangrijkste geschriften van deze ervaring, dat zijn de Upanishads, de Brahma Sutra's en de Bhagavad Gita. En later zijn ook de grote incarnaties van God gekomen om ons te onderwijzen. Krishna, Jezus Christus en vele anderen. En ook de mystici zijn er. Zij hebben allemaal, wat ze hebben geleerd, dat is allemaal gebaseerd op ervaring, directe ervaring. En later werd het door de volgelingen vastgelegd in de geschriften.
To lead a spiritual life, we need a body first. Without body, who will practice it? But body is not enough. Mind is more important. So in this body-mind complex, which is body, we have got mind, we have got this body with flesh and bones. Is it something also is there in it, or consciousness? Our consciousness itself is spirit. Pure consciousness. Our consciousness is not pure, it is diluted with our mind. As our mind goes, that the pure mind is needed. Pure heart, pure mind, that is needed to have the pure consciousness. So our expression, without consciousness, this body is dead. We cannot do anything. Just mommy sitting. Consciousness is there. And that's expression of the spirit comes from the consciousness. We are conscious being. We are not inert being, but we are conscious. So that consciousness, what we have, that we have to purify it. It is not pure consciousness, it is simple consciousness. Is there. Consciousness even in animal also is there. They are simple consciousness. But we are more developed. Our mind is more developed. That's why in animal life it is never possible to realize the truth. The human mind is much, much developed. Here we can judge things. What is right, what is wrong. Here we judge things according to our understanding, to the intelligence God has given to us. So we understand things. We know what is good, what is bad from our life. We know from our parents. We know from the books also. We know afterwards. We know what is good. Telling the truth is good. Then hating others is not good. So many things we know, but we fail to practice. Most of us we fail to practice it in life. We know many things, but we do not behave like that. We fail to practice it. Why? We should not do wrong. Why we do? Because that is delusive part. That is our ignorance. We are ignorant about our own being. We are ignorant. That is why we have to be alert and mindful that what we have to do. We have come here, what we are supposed to do, and what we are doing. All these things, how many people actually have time to think even? People are busy. From the morning till late night. For what? For material success, material prosperity, for name and fame, for other things which pleases us. But that is why, and we do not cultivate in life, we do not practice in life, we do not try to do it, and we are exhausted. When we come back, there is no energy also left to do, practice anything. So that is why, and life goes on in this way. One day end will come, we do not know when it will come. Nobody knows, that is mystery. So in this way life goes on and we are lacking completely our duty, what we are supposed to do. That is why life goes on. That's why body is essential thing. Sariram addam khalu dharma sadhanam. Mahabharata is telling. This sharir, this body is addam, it comes first. For doing dharma sadhana, to practice spiritual life, to practice religion, to practice spiritual life, we need first body. So first of all, we have to make our body strong. By that we need not have to Mr. Universe or Mrs. Universe, we do not have to do, but we have to have healthy body, without much ailments, without much suffering. We can do as we like. At least for spiritual practices, we have to sit straight, without movement very much. So all these things, it is determination of our mind. And that needs also, if body is not very strong, as I like, I cannot do, in particular in the old age. So that is why we have to, very beginning, we have to try to keep our body in good state. The food we take, that is very important, and it has to be properly assimilated. So all these things needed to have a good body. So first of all, we have to be careful. We have to be healthy in body. To do spiritual practice is not easy, not for weakling. That's why Upanishad practices which deals with the Jnana Yoga mostly. Strong body, asishta, balishta, gadishta, Swami Vivekananda is telling. You have a strong body. And that is only for doing spiritual practices, we need a good body. We need a good physique, healthy body. And that we have to, everybody, those who want to live a spiritual life, want to advance in life, we have to try to keep our body healthy, so that it needs good food, it needs good rest. All these things we cannot neglect. If we neglect, we have to suffer. We give too much energy for other things, material success, then we suffer blood pressure or the not sleeping, all this problem comes. And afterwards you become a psychiatric patient. All these things, so we should not be deluded with all these things. We have to be careful to make our body strong, and other purpose is life. To live the life, to have livelihood, to maintain our livelihood, needs something, but that is not the whole purpose of life. That is not the everything. We can keep some time for that. Other times we have to use properly. So body part, everybody according to our own means, according to our own possibility, we have to be that. Those who are working people, mostly working people, old age comes, there more time is there. But unless and until you practice earlier age, so old age is not so easy to practice, because they are even cannot sit properly. So this is the condition. That is why for spiritual life we have to be alert from the early part of our life. We see all the mystics and the great saints and the incarnations, they come from the early part of their life itself. what tremendous effort they put for spiritual evolution. So we have to try according to our means, according to our stage. We are in different stages and our mind is in different level. So according to our own means, according to our own strength, we have to try our best to know.
Swami zei nog over de geschriften, dat je kunt het allemaal wel uit je hoofd leren, maar volgen we het ook. Het betekent alleen groei, spirituele groei, als je het beoefent. Swami zegt dan dat geestelijk leven, om dat te leiden, heb je natuurlijk een lichaam nodig. We hebben te maken met een samenstelling van lichaam en denken. En dan is er ons bewustzijn. En eigenlijk is de geest ons bewustzijn, maar dan wel in de zuivere staat. Nu is ons bewustzijn vertroebeld en begoocheld. Even ons geest kunnen we ervaren in ons bewustzijn. Maar dat bewustzijn moet gezuiverd worden. En we hebben ook de mogelijkheid om te beoordelen tussen juist en onjuist. We hebben de intelligentie. Waarheid zeggen is iets goeds. Dat hebben we allemaal geleerd van onze ouders en in de boeken staat het. Maar brengen we het allemaal in de praktijk? Swami zegt iedere keer weer alert en nadenkend te zijn. Maar hoeveel mensen hebben daar echt de tijd voor? De meeste mensen hebben alle tijd voor de materiële kant. En die komen dan niet toe aan het andere. Dat kweken we dan niet aan. En zo verzaken we onze eigenlijke dure plicht die we zouden moeten doen volgens de geschriften. En daar is het lichaam als eerste belangrijk voor. Sterk en gezond te houden. En dat kun je doen met goede voeding en rust. Dat is allemaal nodig voor geestelijke beoefeningen. Als we dat verwaarlozen, dan komen de problemen.
The mind comes to mind. Now, we have body, which you can utilize, and we need a mind. So mind has to be straightened. There is a lot of crookedness in the mind. That is why we suffer. If mind is simple, elevated, not so much bad elements are there in the mind, then naturally we are peaceful. There are a lot of things in the mind which makes us the turmoil state. So these negative feelings or negative elements in us, we have to curtail it as much as possible. And that too need introspection, that too need thinking for some time. What we are lacking, which side. Usually we are not alert of it. That's why we tell many, even telling lies also, it does not affect us. Because it has been practiced, more or less. That's why it does not affect us. But a spiritual minded person, immediately it strikes. Did I tell properly? No. So, I have to be careful. Next time I should not halt. I should not do this lacking. So all is alert. Mind is very difficult to handle. Body can be handled easily. That needs, of course, some exercises, etc. But we can handle the body according to. But to mind is very, very difficult. It needs more because mind is subtle. Body is gross. So with some gross exercises, some gross practices, we can handle. If we follow, of course. But mind is very, very, and mind is different. Each mind is different because in different stages of evolution. Some mind are very simple, some mind there is not fault. So they can practice different path also. Jnana Yoga is for them. Those who have done, particularly, we see some people are not some wrong things. Their life is much better than ordinary people, more strong, and they can follow different path. But all does not suit in the spiritual life itself. We have come. As mind is different, so different formalities are there, different procedure is there, which suits our mind. So that we get from the Vedanta teachings. From Vedanta we many get things. They are usually the mind by following the faculties of our different faculties of our mind. That's why disciplines also they have done. Yogas. Yoga means to keep our mind united. The thought of God, thought of spirit. That is the main meaning of yoga. Yoga means unite. To unite. What to unite? Unite our mind with the spirit, with God. That is different yogas is that. So through the yoga practices, I mean here not Hatha Yoga, in here Raja Yoga. Yoga practices, we can have control over our mind. So yoga also broadly thinking, feeling, willing and restraining the human faculties, human capabilities. Swami Vivekananda classified yoga in 4. Thinking, feeling, thinking those thoughtful people, rational minded people, Jnana Yoga they can practice. Feeling, feel, those who heart feels. So they are for their Bhakti Yoga. Willing, want to do, Karma Yoga. Restraining, Yoga Raja Yoga. Through restraining our senses, restraining our mind, and through meditative process, one can evolve. One can straighten one's mind. So different, because we are in different stages, our mind, constitution of our mind also are different. So that is why Vedanta has given the 4 formulas, 4 yogas, 4 types of disciplines through which we can handle our mind, we can train our mind, we can purify our mind. So mind, to control our mind, to purify our mind is a process. And it takes lot of time, even whole life. We have to work for it. Then if mind is at your own disposal, whatever you want and you can put the mind will not go. So that needs lot of training, that means regular meditation is needed. Regular thinking, those who follow the path of Jnana Yoga also, proper introspection and deep thinking and practice in life. Thinking will not do. Accordingly, the yoga as we follow, we have to practice also regularly those things. So then gradually it becomes our nature. Habit. Put a habit, regular habit, and that becomes our nature. And thus we can change our mind. The pattern of our mind as it is now, we can all change. That capability is there in us. We have to utilize it.
Swami heeft gesproken over het lichaam. Hij spreekt nu over het denken. En het denken is veel subtieler natuurlijk dan het lichaam, wat grover van aard is. En in ons denken zitten veel kronkels. We zijn niet eenvoudig. Als we eenvoudig zijn, dan zijn we ook veel meer vredevol. Er zijn veel negatieve gevoelens en gedachten in ons. En de kunst is om dat te kortwieken. En daar is veel introspectie en diep nadenken voor nodig. En we weten, iedereen die dat beoefent, als er iets verkeerds gebeurt, waar hij de oorzaak van is, dan leidt de spiritueel ingesteld mens daar direct onder. Iemand die dat niet heeft gedaan, die kan het een en ander uithalen, maar dat maakt er niet zoveel uit. Denken is ook, zegt Swami, heel moeilijk te hanteren. Het is zo subtiel. Het lichaam is grover. En ook ieder denken van ieder mens is in verschillende stadia en fasen. En daarom is er voor ieder een bepaalde manier van aanpak en een procedure. Veel types van yoga's en paden zijn er. En Swami Vivekananda heeft zelf 4 basiseigenschappen in de mens geanalyseerd en overeenkomstig ook 4 types van yoga's geformuleerd. Hij zegt, de mens bestaat uit denken, voelen, willen en ook beheersen en inperken. En voor ieder van die typen wat de mens in zich heeft, is een bepaalde type yoga. Bijvoorbeeld denken is dhyana yoga, voelen is bhakti yoga, Willen is karma yoga en het inperken, beheersen, controleren is raja yoga. Het zijn allemaal manieren om het denken te trainen en te zuiveren. En het is een heel langdurig proces, zegt Swami. Je moet dus er dagelijks mee bezig zijn. Dagelijks meditatie, juist denken en diep introspectie. En dat natuurlijk ook weer toepassen in het leven. Als we dat doen, dan wordt het een regelmatige gewoonte. En een regelmatige gewoonte gaat langzamerhand een aard van ons worden. Het wordt onze eigen natuur. En iedereen heeft het in zich.
So those who are rational-minded people, they have to think seriously, what is this body? What is this mind? Am I this body and mind? Yes, part of it, but not all. And is this body is permanent? No. We see everybody dies, so we also will die. Because all material elements are subject to decay and death. Cannot change the natural law. All material elements which is born, which has life, or without life also, it will, in the course of time, it will decay one day. So decay and death, decompose. It is nature. So those are thinking people, they think seriously, and am I this body? No, because it is permanent. It will die one day or other. I cannot help it. This is it. This is just my life is like that. Ends with this. Then why is all this struggle to evolve, to be better? No. Something different. It is not. I am not this body. So Gyanayogi knows the path, follow the path of rational. The rationality, those who follow, they have no. Body is not permanent, and body cannot be satisfied with the body because body will die one day. Is the mind permanent? No. But that is also material elements. Mind are very subtle, but it is also material. The rishis discovered all these things through their experience. Mind also is not permanent. The food we take, from that the blood comes, and the very subtle portion of the blood, other things we create which gives us our vitality. Then finest part, the mind. So that's why the mind also is related with the food. If we do not take food a few days, you cannot recollect things. It is experimented already. With water we may, 1 month we can live even. Of course those who have fatty body, from the fat it will be utilized. But we can, with water, without water we cannot live. But with water we can live even a month. But you see, mind will not work. Your mind, the alertness of the mind go. Recollection, impossible, does not come. Which is very regularly we are using, but you just fast for some days, you cannot recollect things. So in this process, the mind also is a material, not spirit. So mind also and changes. Whatever is changeful, you know. Something is there which does not change. Infinite, immortal. The body will die, is mortal. So also mind, though it is subtle, but it goes with the mind, it goes with the body. So mind also, because mind is changing. Today's mind, something, I can know, this I am very happy. Something happens in life, immediately mind becomes so sorrowful, so pains come. So mind is constantly changing, faster than the body. So this is the condition. So also which is changeful, it never permanent. Which is composed of different elements is never be permanent. So something is there, So the Jnana Yogi, those who practice the rational path, they through this experience, through proper introspection, discrimination, they come to know this body is not permanent, this mind also is not permanent. What is permanent in me? Something is there besides this body and mind in us, that is permanent. That is called spirit. And in devotee's language, that is God. The kingdom of God is within you, Jesus Christ is telling. So that kingdom of God is in us, in everybody. All the creatures, including animals, all the, which has life, God is there. So that is permanent. That does not change. After my death also, it will not change. It has no death. What is spirit? The body, the material things, all change. Because it is material. All material things are subject to decay and death. So also mind, constantly changing. It is not the same. It does not remain same. So body and mind in us, impermanent. It has death. It is not permanent. But we can satisfied, never we can be satisfied with impermanent things. We want to stay permanently. So that is our spirit. That spirit is behind us. It is working through our mind and intellect. Expression we get. And that is why we want to live permanently. Something is there in us which tells us that no, we are permanent. So that we have to find out. We are that spirit. We are not this body, we are not this mind, but we are spirit eternal, immortal, infinite. That is the nature of the spirit. The nature of this matter is subject to death, but nature of the spirit unchanged. It does not. And spirit is one. God is one. God is not two. We call him in different names according to our traditions, according to our understanding, according to our religion. We tell the same God, the same spirit in different names. Truth, Jehovah, and Father in heaven, or Mother in the universe, in different names, or Brahman, or Atman, same, the spirit. Different names. And that is permanent. That does not change. So every religion believes something which is permanent. Otherwise, there is no meaning of religion. Why should we practice religion? We want to have a permanent thing, permanent life. And that is why we try to live a spiritual life. Because spirit is permanent and we are essentially that spirit. Each soul is potentially divine, Swami Vivekananda is telling. That divinity is in us, latent. It will manifest. We have to manifest that divinity, which is in us, that spirit. We are that spirit, and we have to know for certain that we are that spirit only. So, Jnana Yogi, the thoughtful people, through their introspection, to their proper discrimination of things, they come to know there is spirit in us and is search for that spirit. So that is why Jnana Yogi neglect his body, does not care very much, does not give importance to mind also because it is constantly changing. I want to know that permanent thing. So that is why a stern-minded, very strong mind, those who have very strong mind, perfect control over their senses, over their mind, they can practice this path of rationality, the path of this Jnana Yoga, not for a Sankaracharya, a Buddha, who followed this path. And the ancient seers and sages also followed this path. So that is why, and that is their wisdom. You are not this body, you are not this mind, you are spirit, and try to know that spirit. Aham Brahmasmi, I am that Brahman. Not only Tattvamasi, they are teaching that you are that. So, as they practiced and they taught to their students also. So that is called Jnana Yoga. But some of us can try that path. It's not, as I say, it is that easy to tell, but very difficult to follow also that path. Very rational, very thing, I am not this body, well, I have to, day and night I have to live in this body. And I neglect completely this body, I am not this body. And not only that, in practice also. They do not give importance. When death comes, and Buddha has told before illumination, he tried 6 years, very stern spiritual austerities he followed. Nothing happened. But through that experience, he learned many things. He tried to follow extreme austerities, fasting, etc. For knowing the truth, we need this body. By that body will be emaciated if you do not take anything fast, and body will be emaciated, and we can, before knowing the truth, I cannot live. So through the experiences he learned many things. That is why from his experience he is telling, Madhya Pantha is avalamanya. Madhya Pantha means middle path. Everything middle path. Not too much sleep, not too much eat, moderately, not too much fasting, not sleepless night, no. Everything should be middle. Those who follow that, they follow the path of yoga. They can follow this path of yoga, Raj Yoga or Jnana Yoga, higher type. Those they can follow. Sri Krishna also teaching in the Bhagavad Gita. Nattasnastu yogasti nachaikantu manasmata. Not too much eating, not too much sleep. Madhya. That is Buddha also taught. O bhikshus is teaching his followers. O bhikshus, O monks, Madhya is the middle path which we followed. So those who follow this type of rational path, they have to be extremely careful, particularly the yoga, Raja Yoga, those who control the mind through meditation. They have to lead this type of life. And they are very methodical for it. That becomes also one-sided. Too much giving importance, and other side they neglect. It does not develop a fair person, a good person living in the society. They can practice, go some secluded life, but living in the society and to be spiritual, it is difficult part. But there are other paths also one can follow. So, the Jnana Yoga particularly, I have told, the body is different, mind is different, and they do not give too much importance to this. They give importance to the spirit. So, spirit is different. Which is spirit? Is non-material, non-mental. Something is in us which is non-material, which is not mental also. It does not change. The mind change, it does not change. It remains. And that is our very nature. We are that. We are telling, thou art that. You are that. Teacher experienced that Aham Brahmasmi, I am that spirit. Not only that, also every one of you, thou art that. You are that. Only we have to manifest in life. We have to purify our mind, and that mind, when mind is purified, and that mind will know what I am. Buddha, through this path, he meditated and he purified his mind completely. He had perfect control over his mind, perfect control over his senses, and thus became illumined. Buddha stage, Buddha means a condition which completely illumined. That is Buddha. And everybody can be Buddha. He told also, be truth, follow the truth. Truth will be your savior. So they practice in life, and they have also told something. The truth is different, and that can be, we can all know that truth. And that part we have to rather keep more importance. Life goes, most of our time has gone, but we should not be disheartened. Whatever is there, we have to try. And sincere effort is not in vain, will never be in vain. Definitely will give something. That's why Sri Krishna is telling in the Gita, Salpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. A little bit practice of this truth, as I have taught, will avoid many, many difficulties in life. Trayato mahato bhayat. Great fear. What is great fear in us? Death. You can overcome death even by practicing it properly with our sincerity of our heart. And if we regularly practice it, gradually we will grow something in us. And by that we will remain rather not agitated, but more calm and quiet. And thinking also need calm and quietness of the mind. Otherwise deep thinking is never possible. That is why meditation regularly doing to control over the mind. Nothing but the evolution of mind. Spirit does not evolve because it remains the same. It is always the same. But we have to reach that spirit. How? By evolution of the mind, through the evolution of our mind. That mind has to be purified, that mind has to be controlled properly, and gradually when mind is pure, intelligence also becomes pure. And that purity of mind, that can have glimpse of the spirit in us. So that is our part. We have to try our best how to keep our mind under our control, how to keep our mind in the thought of God most of the time. That we have to practice in life.
Swami geeft dan een analyse van het jhana yoga, zoals een volgeling van de jhana yoga probeert de werkelijkheid te zien. Het is vooral voor rationeel ingestelde mensen. En het begint met te denken, wat is dit lichaam en denken? Ben ik dat? Want er is sprake van verandering. Want het is niet blijvend. We sterven allemaal, er is verval en dood, ontbinding, verandering van de elementen. En dan kun je zeggen, nee, dat zijn we niet werkelijk. Maar waarom hebben we dan al die inspanningen en het gezwoeg waar we mee bezig zijn om ons te verbeteren? Dus dan ga je naar het denken kijken. En het denken, dat zijn we ook niet. Het is ook een subtiel materieel iets. Het lichaam is een grover materieel. Als je al niet eet, dan weet je al dat je niet goed kunt functioneren. En ook het denken, het geheugen gaat achteruit. Dus het denken kent ook voortdurende veranderingen. Nu zijn we opgewekt en vrolijk, het volgende moment zijn we verdrietig en neerslachtig. Kortom, je kunt zeggen, alles wat een samenstelling is van allerlei elementen valt ook weer uit elkaar. Dus daar kan de blijvendheid niet in zitten. Die blijvendheid, wat we werkelijk zijn, dat is de geest. Of voor de gelovige God. Zoals Christus heeft geleerd, het koninkrijk der hemelen is in u. We kunnen dus niet tevreden zijn met het vergankelijke en het veranderlijke. We kunnen alleen tevreden zijn met het onvergankelijke, de geest. Dat is onze ware aard, waar we horen. Die geest drukt zich wel uit in lichaam en denken. Wij zijn dus die geest, onze ware aard. En die geest is ook één, zeggen alle geschriften en alle grote leraren. En God is één, maar het wordt benoemd met verschillende namen. En daar is die permanentheid. Daarom moeten we ook het geestelijk leven beoefenen, omdat dat onze ware aard is. Swami Vivekananda heeft gezegd, iedere ziel is potentieel in aanleg goddelijk. Iemand dus met een sterk denken en controle over de zintuigen, die kan dit jhana-yoga-pad, waar deze analyse bij hoort, die kan dat volgen. De grote exponenten zijn Shankaracharya en Boeddha. En die hebben geleerd, jij bent dat. Die geest, dat ben je. Maar zij deden eerst hele zware verstervingen. En later hebben ook zij toch een middenpad geformuleerd voor de volgelingen. Omdat het zo zwaar is te oefenen. Het zijn moeilijke oefeningen. En voor de meeste mensen, zegt Swami, niet geschikt. Zowel de jhana-yoga als de raja-yoga. Maar toch wordt, zoals Sri Krishna heeft gezegd in de Gita, iedere oprechte inspanning, en hoe klein ook, en beoefening, vermijdt vele moeilijkheden en je overkomt de grote angst voor de dood. Het is allemaal, zegt Swami, een ontwikkeling, een evolutie van het denken. De geest, die blijft hetzelfde. Maar als dat denken steeds zuiverder wordt, dan vangen we glimpen op van die geest.
As Jnana Yogi does use the rational side, so also contemplation, the yogi, Raja Yogi, through meditation. Through meditation also, mind should be perfect mind. Through meditation, they try to keep the mind in bring the mind in perfect state. And their realization is Ayam Atma Brahma. This Atman, which I am thinking my soul, this Jivatma, my Atman is associated with my psyche, with this body, it is called Jivatma. Jiva Atma, the living beings has got Atma, spirit. My spirit, the individual spirit, is associated with my psyche, with my knowledge, with my experience. And that is called Jivatma. It is not perfect. But that Atman is one with perfect Atman, that is Paramatma, Ishwar, God. So my Atman is one with Paramatma, is one with God seated in me. So that is the process of the Raja Yogi. Through the meditation, they come to introspection, through meditation, proper contemplation. Their search is to know that I am one with that Paramatman, one with that Brahman. So that is also a process of meditation. For meditation, need a perfect mind. And there is a process, Patanjali Yoga Sutra tells, many disciplines are there. How to keep the mind, pure mind, how to bring our mind under our control. So different stages are there, different processes are there. For that we have to live a perfect life. We have to maintain chastity, etc. So that we do not misuse our vital energy. We have to properly put for spiritual evolution. And those who can do that path follow, and proper dieting, etc., proper resting, those who follow that path, the path of meditation, path of contemplation, it is called Dhyana Yogi or Raja Yogi. So that is also is not possible because there are a lot of restrictions and they are not possible ordinary human being, those who have to work day and night for their own livelihood or maintain their livelihood is not possible. So other paths also are there. That is why Hindu saints and sages, they are very generous. They thought of it. People cannot do, or people cannot do. Though themselves have done, but there are other processes also which comes under Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Karma think willing part. We want to do something. That agility is there in us. So we have to use that path also, but yoga, with the motivation of yoga. The unselfish work without any motivation, self-interest, that brings our mind under control. That brings our mind, that purity of mind, that brings the purity of our mind. Unselfish work also is a path. We all do work, but for our self-interest, for our own prosperity, no. The same effort, if we can do for others' benefit, so that means I do not think of the self. I have to do work. Karmanyeva adhikar asti, ma phalesu kadachana. Sri Krishna is telling in the Karma Yoga that you have the right to do work. Without work we cannot survive in this world. We cannot remain. If I do not work, my mind will work. I cannot remain sit. If I just sit quietly and then showing others that I do not move, but body is not working. But mind, can you keep your mind and the mind is lying here and there. So if I do not do work physically, the mind will work. It is not easy, it is not possible for a living being without any work. So what? But with a yoga attitude, that is Karma Yoga. If we can do work without motivation, without self-interest, that gives our mind the purity of my mind. So that is also a path. And that path one can follow. most of the people can follow that path also. It is also not that easy as we think. For that lot of restrictions comes and lot of things. You work also what we are supposed to do, what we not. So all these things it needs. Another is feeling part. Love. It's human nature. We want to love somebody and we want to be loved also by somebody. So that is our human nature. We all like it. So that part we can utilize, but that is also the yoga, that is bhakti yoga, not mere bhakti, not mere devotion. Devotion and love, we have to utilize it through the yoga, that is bhakti yoga. That means we have to love something which is permanent. We love somebody, he or she will die one day, not permanent, and that gives lot of pains. So, to love somebody or something which does not change, which does not have death, and that is only God. Nothing is there in this world which is permanent. And permanent is the spirit, permanent is God. So, to know God through our love and devotion, we have to purify also our love. That means no self-interest, love for love's sake. As work for work's sake, Karma Yoga has to practice. They are love for love's sake. Oh Lord, I love you. Whatever pains you may get, give to me. That does not change my love. I will love. Still I love you. I may have lot of pains, lot of sufferings. A true devotee of God tells, whatever you like, you give me. I do not care. But I want you. I want to love you in spite of all my suffering. So those who can do that, tremendous. That is also great, tremendous will of our mind. It is not so easy. But these are the paths one can follow because our minds also are different. One yoga does not suit everybody. As one coat does not suit everybody. Everybody has his or her measurement. According to that, we need clothing. Similarly, this mind also is so variant, so different. And according to that, the Hindus, the saints and sages, they thought and put different disciplines to be followed by human beings so that each and everybody has his or her own religion according to their own capability, according to their own understanding. So that is the path of love and devotion. These are the paths by which we can keep our mind under control, keep our mind peaceful, restful, and that mind will be utilized to know God, to know the Spirit, to think about the Spirit. So all these paths, through all these paths, one aim is to realize God, nothing else. Why should I purify my mind? Because that helps me to realize the truth in me, to realize the Spirit in me. So that is these are the paths which is given us to be followed according to our own understanding, according to our own choice, according to our own capability. We can follow different paths. Of course, they are not airtight compartment. All inclinations, we human being have all these inclinations, more or less. So we can utilize according to our capability, according to our understanding, we can utilize all paths. Some rationality is needed, some restraining is needed, and willing part and devotion, these are the things we can utilize properly, which has been given to us by God, so that we can reach Him. And the different saints and mystics, they have shown in their life. So they are our guide, and to be spiritual, we have to follow them. Particularly practice is needed. Not we are knowing by reading books doesn't help. It helps that much to understand what I am supposed to do. That we have to think, read, think, Savan, Manan, Nidhyasam. First hearing from evolved souls, for a spiritual teacher, hearing, thinking, and then someone manana, and then you have to cogitate, you have to mind, to set what I am to do. I have heard, I have read the scriptures, what I am supposed to do. So thinking seriously and nididhasan, through dhyana, the meditation, you have to proceed in this path, in this hard path. This much, this session.
Swami vertelt nog iets over de Raja Yoga. Dat is echt bij uitstek het pad van meditatie en contemplatie. Hierin is het idee dat de individuele atman, die nu vereenzelvigd of geassocieerd is met onze psyche, die individueel lijkt te zijn, is in werkelijkheid één met Paramatman, de kosmische atman, Brahman, de geest. En ook dit pad is ontzettend zwaar, zegt Swami. Het vereist een perfect leven, kuisheid, een juist dieet. Er zijn ontzettend veel restricties. En veel leraren in het hindoeïsme hebben gezien dat het voor de meeste mensen niet geschikt is. Daarom vind je ook in het hindoeïsme een heel breed spectrum en scala van allerlei mogelijke benaderingen voor alle typen van mensen. Daarom vind je terug de andere yoga's, karma en bhakti yoga. Veel mensen willen graag werken, willen iets doen, maar je moet het doen met een yoga-houding. Een onbaatzuchtige, onzelfzuchtige houding. En ook dat zuiver te denken, want ook dat is een yoga. Veel mensen kunnen rustig gaan zitten, maar dan is het lichaam rustig, maar het denken die gaat dan pas aan de slag. Dus ook dit is niet zo makkelijk als pad, zegt Swami. Dan heb je de eigenschap van ieder mens voelen, liefde. Dat is diep in de menselijke aard. Ook dat kun je als een yoga beoefenen, bhakti yoga. Dan doe je liefde en devotie voor iets wat permanent is. Ook dat zuivert weer ons denken. Als we onze liefde geven aan een tijdelijk iets of iemand, dan geeft dat tenslotte pijn. Alleen God is blijvend en om God te leren kennen kun je op die manier via het pad van liefde hem benaderen. Liefde, zegt Swami, ter wille van de liefde. En ook dat andere, werk ter wille van werk. Dan doe je die twee houdingen vanuit een yoga-houding. Ik heb God lief, ondanks alles wat me kan overkomen. Ik geef niets om al het andere. Dat is een liefde ter wille van het liefde. En op die manier, al deze paden, kunnen we ons denken onder beheersing krijgen en houden en in vrede en kalmte leven, om zo God te realiseren. Natuurlijk zijn deze 4 aanpakken, deze paden zijn niet waterdichte, afgescheiden compartimenten. Je kunt van alle yoga's kun je iets leren. Maar je kunt het allemaal doen vanuit je eigen voorkeur en eigen talent wat je kunt gebruiken en wat je ook kunt assimileren. Kennis is de beoefening van al deze aanpak, van al deze paden. De basis is eerst je hoort erover, je leest erover, dan denk je er diep over na en dan pas je het toe.
And the difficulty is that it is not so easy to follow. The life does not go so smoothly. Some difficulties we face in life. What are the difficulties and how we can solve it, how we can overcome it. We'll try to discuss in the afternoon session.